A hero's journey is a quest that calls us out of our mundane lives, dares us to overcome obstacles, and returns us home stronger, wiser, and inspired. Come, let us travel together on this stretch of the road, and may we share in great adventures along the way. The journey begins. Welcome to the Dad Venture Show.
Welcome back to Lore, Legends, and Lullabies, where we will regale you with Australian cowboy poetry.
Yeah, so today's episode, before we dive in, just a couple of brief points that we wanted to make. So just so you're aware, we will be taking a little bit of time off as this is summertime and vacation time for family and things like that. So I know we left you hanging for a while. We just wanted to give you a heads up. We're going to leave you hanging again.
Yep.
But don't worry, we will be back. Also, wanted to announce we'll be adding a little bit more into our repertoire for our episodes. So we're going to be starting to do some devotional episodes, probably looking to release those on Saturdays. We'll figure it out, but be looking for those. Jerem and I are people of faith, members of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, and we feel like we'd really like to have some conversations just about some more spiritual things, read some scripture together. Nothing super lengthy, but something that we feel is very important in our lives, and want to share that with anybody who wanted to listen.
Yeah, those devotionals, we're probably shooting for something sub 20 minutes.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah.
So anyway,
just something to chew on a little bit before Sunday.
Yeah, get you ready for the Sabbath.
So without further ado, continuing into our episode today of Lore, Legends, and Lullabies, we wanted to share a bit of poetry with you. Primarily, we'll be reading from an author by the name of Banjo Paterson. Banjo Paterson was an iconic Australian writer known for bush ballads and storytelling. He was born in 1864 and had a deep connection to the Australian outback and is famous for works like The Man from Snowy River and Waltzing Matilda. Despite starting his career in law, his true passion lay in writing, and he quickly rose to national fame with his vivid portrayals of bush life. Now, we're going to put a little bit of an American twist on this.
Because we're American.
America, yep. So we're going to play with this a little bit, just have some fun. And just to make it official, all of the poems that we're going to share today are in the public domain. One of the poems that I've chosen to read today is called Saltbush Bill, published in 1894. Now this is the law of the overland that all in the West obey. A man must cover with traveling sheep a 6-mile stage a day. But this is the law which the drovers make, right easily understood. They travel their stage where the grass is bad, but they camp where the grass is good. They camp and they ravage the squatter's grass till never a blade remains. Then they drift away as the white clouds drift on the edge of the saltbush plains. From camp to camp and from run to run, they battle it hand to hand for a blade of grass and the right to pass on the track of the overland. For this is the law of the great stock routes, 'tis written in white and black. The man that goes with the traveling mob must keep to a half-mile track. And the drovers keep to a half-mile track on the runs where the grass is dead. But they spread their sheep on a well-grassed run till they go with a 2-mile spread. So the squatters hurry the drovers on from dawn till the fall of night. And the squatters' dogs and the drovers' dogs get mixed in a deadly fight. Yet the squatters' men, though they hunt the mob, are willing the peace to keep.
for the drovers learn how to use their hands when they go with the traveling sheep. But this is the tale of a jackaroo that came from a foreign strand, and the fight that he fought with Saltbush Bill, the king of the overland. Now, Saltbush Bill was a drover tough as ever the country knew. He had fought his way on the great stock routes from the sea to the big Barcoo. He could tell when he came to a friendly run that gave him a chance to spread. And he knew where the hungry owners were that hurried his sheep ahead. He was drifting down in the 80 drought, with a mob that could scarcely creep. When the kangaroos by the thousand starve, it is rough on the traveling sheep. And he camped one night at the crossing place on the edge of the Wilga Run. "We must manage to feed for them here," he said, "or the half of the mob are done." So he spread them out when they left the camp wherever they liked to go, till he grew aware of a jackaroo with a station hand in tow. And they set to work on the straggling sheep, and with many a stockwhip crack, they forced them in where the grass was dead, in the space of the half-mile track. So William prayed that the hand of fate might suddenly strike him blue, but he'd get some grass for his starving sheep in the teeth of that jackaroo. So he turned and he cursed the jackaroo. He cursed him alive or dead, from the soles of his great unwieldy feet to the crown of his ugly head. With an extra curse on the Moki road, and the cur at his heels that ran, till the jackaroo from his horse got down and he went for the drover man. With the station hand for his picker-up, though the sheep ran loose a while, they battled it out on the Saltbush Plain, in the regular prize ring style. Now the new chum fought for his honor's sake and the pride of the English race, but the drover fought for his daily bread with a smile on his bearded face. So he shifted ground and he sparred for wind and he made it a lengthy mill. And from time to time as his scouts came in, they whispered to Saltbush Bill, "We have spread the sheep with a 2-mile spread in the grass. It is something grand. You must stick to him, Bill, for another round for the pride of the overland." The new chum made it a rushing fight, though never a blow got home, till the sun rode high in the cloudless sky and glared on the brick-red loam. Till the sheep drew into the shelter trees and settled them down to rest. Then the drover said he would fight no more, and he gave his opponent best. So the new chum rode to the homestead straight, and he told them a story grand of the desperate fight that he fought that day with the king of the overland. And the tale went home to the public schools of the pluck of the English swell, how the drover fought for his very life, but blood, in the end, must tell. But the traveling sheep and the Wilga sheep were boxed on the Old Man Plain. 'Twas a full week's work ere they drafted out and hunted them off again. With a week's good grass in their wretched hides, with a curse and a stockwhip crack, they hunted them off on the road once more to starve on the half-mile track. And Saltbush Bill on the overland will many a time recite how the best day's work that ever he did was the day that he lost the fight.
That was awesome, Jason. Thank you for reading that for us.
Thank you. You're welcome. My pleasure.
All right, so I'm going to read you guys a poem by the same author, Banjo Paterson, and this one is called Clancy of the Overflow, originally published in 1889.
I had written him a letter, which I had, for want of better knowledge, sent to where I met him down the Lachlan years ago. He was shearing when I knew him, so I sent the letter to him just on spec, addressed as follows: Clancy of the Overflow. And an answer came directed in a writing unexpected. and I think the same was written with a thumbnail and dipped in tar. 'Twas his shearing mate who wrote it, and verbatim I will quote it. Clancy's gone to Queensland drovin', and we don't know where he are. In my wild, erratic fancy, visions come to me of Clancy, gone a drovin' down the Cooper, where the western drovers go. As the stock are slowly stringin', Clancy rides behind them singin'. For the drover's life has pleasures that the townsfolk never know. And the bush hath friends to meet him, and their kindly voices greet him in the murmur of the breezes and the river on its bars. And he sees the vision splendid of the sunlit plains extended, and at night the wondrous glory of the everlasting stars. And I am sitting in my dingy little office, where a stingy ray of sunlight struggles feebly down between the houses tall, and the fetid air and gritty of the dusty, dirty city, through the open window floating, spreads its foulness over all. And in place of lowing cattle, I can hear the fiendish rattle of the tramways and the buses making hurry down the street, and the language uninviting of the gutter children fighting comes fitfully and faintly through the ceaseless tramp of feet. And the hurrying people daunt me, and their pallid faces haunt me as they shoulder one another in their rush and nervous haste, with their eager eyes and greedy, and their stunted forms and weedy, for the townsfolk have no time to grow, they have no time to waste. And I somehow rather fancy that I'd like to change with Clancy, like to take a turn at droving, where the seasons come and go, while he faced the round eternal of the cash book and the journal. But I doubt he'd suit the office, Clancy of the Overflow.
For our last poem by Banjo Paterson, we've chosen The Wind's Message. This was originally published in 1895. There came a whisper down the bland, between the dawn and dark, above the tossing of the pines above the river's flow. It stirred the boughs of giant gums and stalwart ironbark. It drifted where the wild ducks played amid the swamps below. It brought a breath of mountain air from off the hills of pine, a scent of eucalyptus trees in honey-laden bloom, and drifting far away along the southern line, it caught from leaf and grass and fern a subtle, strange perfume. It reached the toiling city folk, but few there were that heard. The rattle of their busy life had choked the whisper down, and some but caught a fresh-blown breeze with scent of pine that stirred, a thought of blue hills far away beyond the smoky town. And others heard the whisper pass, but could not understand the magic of the breeze's breath that set their hearts aglow, nor how the roving wind could bring across the overland a sound of voices silent now, and songs of long ago. But some that heard the whisper clear were filled with vague unrest. The breeze had brought its message home. They could not fixed abide. Their fancies wandered all the day towards the blue hill's breast, towards the sunny slopes that lie along the riverside. The mighty rolling western plains are very fair to see, where waving to the passing breeze the silver miles stand. But fairer are the giant hills, all rugged though they be, from which the two great rivers rise that run along the bland. Oh, rocky range and rugged spur and river running clear, that swings around the sudden bends with swirl of snow-white foam. Though we, your sons, are far away, we sometimes seem to hear the message that the breezes bring to call the wanderers home. The mountain peaks are white with snow that feeds 1,000 rills. Along the river banks the maize grows tall on virgin land. And we shall live to see once more those sunny southern hills and strike once more the bridle track that leads along the Bland.
And now, dear fellow traveler, as we part ways and you navigate your own hero's journey, may your adventures be filled with discovery. Until our paths cross once more, let courage guide your steps and wisdom guard your way.
This audio program is copyright 2024 by Dadventure Media Group. All rights reserved. No duplication or reproduction of this audio program is permitted without the written consent of Dadventure Media Group.